Men, marriage is wonderful if you find the right person, but it is not something you should aspire to. I'm sorry. Aspire to making yourself learn more. Aspire to being able to pay your own bills. Aspire to more self-confidence for yourselves. Don't aspire to marriage. You cannot waste your life looking for a man to marry you. Face your front, be the best that you can be, and that man will come. That man will come. But it should not be something you aspire.
I mean, excellent writer, great legacy. She's an amazing woman, but I disagree. I think she's conflating desperation and aspiration. It's possible for you to aspire to get married without being desperate about being married. And it is fine for you to aspire to get married. I mean, the Bible says that two are better than one. God looked at man and he said, it is not good. He made a definitive statement. It is not good for a man to be alone. I'll make him a helpmate. That was a conclusive statement. It wasn't an opinion. So it's okay to aspire to be married. I mean, even when you look at the stats, married people live longer. Married people have less health complications. Married people make more money. Married people save more money. Married people have more fulfilled and happy lives. You can check the statistics say that. So what part of this should one not aspire to have? That you have somebody you can trust with your life, somebody that is your safe space, somebody that loves you the way Christ loves the church, a union, a synergistic complementary union that lets you both shine in your areas of grace and in your calling. How is that not something to aspire to? I mean, even the aspiration of marriage motivates you to be a better person. So because you know you're going to get married to someone, you work on yourself, you prepare yourself. So I really don't know how marriage is not an aspiration. You cannot be a Christian and say marriage is not an achievement. We need to be very careful. We can dissuade people from being desperate without telling them things like, don't aspire to be married.
And young women, marriage is wonderful if you find the right person, but it is not.
All right, that's that. Quick question for you guys. Now, before I go into my questions. This is an interesting one. CHIAMAMANDA versus Solomon BUCHI. Solomon BUCHI, who is he self gonna? It's a social media commentator, something like that, That's who he is, But I wanted to know what you guys think about that conversation. Wait, somebody came out of nowhere. Tranquil Pulse said, must CHIAMAMANDA say everything? Is that not why we have brains? She's not against marriage. That's a good point. But let me read your comments first, then we'll talk about it. One thing is obvious here. Solomon, I'm not a big fan of Solomon. There's certain things he chimes in on that I disagree with him. And there's certain things that he chimes in on that I agree with him. For the most part, when it comes to the family structure, I tend to agree with him. But I don't think it's as simple as agreement to disagree as usual. I like to shed light on why I agree or disagree. Well, anytime I disagree with him, I don't shed light on it. I don't care. But when I agree with him, I like to shed light on it because I understand a lot of disagreement with him is coming from a good place. It's coming from a good place of concern why people might push against him, particularly when it comes to family and marriage. And I like to spell it out so that we can get to where we need to get to in these conversations. The reality is that both sides of there's an active gender war going on, and both sides of the gender are coming up with cookie cutter, one-liner talking points that are very, very dangerous. When it comes to the men's side of things, men are repeating talking points that is dangerous for them. The same thing with women. Both sides are doing it. So I like to spend some time on this kind of stuff to really highlight where I'm thinking from, not so you can take it, but so you can see maybe a fresh perspective to things. And then make up your own what you think about it. I'm always here for that. So now that I've done that shalaye right there, no evidence. Okay. Anyway, let's move on. No, let me be respectful. as I say, Nika no way there again. Tranquil Pulse says Auntie Nika will shalaye herself into madness if she's not careful. Back to single setting. Back to labor's market, since you didn't have sense, or you have to move with wisdom always, just in life in general. How much more when you're trying to do life, you're trying to do marriage, family with another person, particularly a person you don't really know yet. Is it because she's long distance? No, everybody that say I do don't know what they're doing. You're getting to know a person for a lifetime, which I think is a good move. It's a risky move, but I wouldn't call it risk particularly. I would say a move of faith, right? Because you really don't know that person. So it's probably best to not approach it with, I too know. I know it all. It's probably not a good idea. Yeah, it's not a good idea. I think you can't do that. Even at the age of... at the age of what? How old is she? 52? Something like that. I guess she guess what? She collects.
Sorry.
Because she wanted to attack monitoring spirit. It's a bad idea. Bad idea. Without knowing what she was doing. Anyway, it's real. It's real. Heartbreak is not your mate. Hell had no fury like a woman scorn. See another blunder on Nigeria's social media space. Solo Makinde, Solomon Bushmeat. You guys, Solomon Buchi. Take it easy on him. Tired of him. Take it easy on him. We're getting somewhere here. He had something to say. To CHIAMAMANDA. All right. This one that literally look for a girl because of accent. Is that what he said? I think he said something stupid like that in the past, right? I don't remember, but I think he said something like that. Solomon be making some blunders, but when it comes to family, I think he's a very smart young man, intelligent young man. He's gonna make some really good things out of himself. He's pivoting as he's going. That's okay. Let's allow room for growth in somebody's life, eh? What's up, group of I disagree, Uncle Buchi? Well done, no, with all your English that went to Harvard. Must Chiamanda say everything? Is that not we have brains? She's not against marriage. She clearly was not against marriage, But as I always said, there's some small poisons in some of our rhetoric. And that's what I want us to use this to pay attention to. Solo the Noah. Social media blunder that has successfully schemed his way to... Oh God, you guys are attacking this young man. Marriage is still not a ticket to heaven, even though God Almighty encourages marriage.
Chai, there is God. Oh.
You guys, marriage is very, very important. Marriage is very, very important. To continue to encourage at a society level. Very, very important. Okay, because if we don't encourage it, we need to now start to look at what is the downside of that, right? And every time, a lot of time, you're not necessarily discouraging it, but there might be small poisonous things you say that is actively discouraging it. It might not be your intention. Intentions are overrated. You have to pay attention to not nitpick every word you say, but in certain things, yes. Okay, so sometimes I nitpick, sometimes I'm like, no, I can just look at the overall thing and say, no, I disagree with that, right? But there's some things that start to become important and we need to so Ola, get to where you are trying to go. Tell us what you are trying to say.
You're right.
Okay, you're right, because obviously you made up your mind. But me, I will still say what I want to say, Sha. I will still say what I want to say. Don't worry. We have to be patient. But let's get back to what they were saying, because honestly, it was a lot of English between him and Chiamanda. The English was a lot. Okay, so let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Not something you should aspire to. I'm sorry.
Okay, what she said is marriage is not something you should aspire to. Solomon Buchi in his caption said, don't aspire to marriage? ? I disagree. with CHIAMAMANDA on this. You can see his mouth, his body language already. Like, Auntie, why do you feel the need to say that? Tell us, give me a good reason why you're advising people not to aspire to marriage. Okay? So just to add that you cannot have a great marriage if you do not aspire. You know, at this point, the whole internet went into what is aspire, right? Is that even a good thing or not, right? What good thing do you seek to have successfully in life that you don't aspire to? These are the questions that comes to mind. Okay? Well, these are the questions that comes to mind. What is aspire? Is that a good thing or a negative thing? Abi, it means being desperate. Being desperate for like me personally, I don't think anybody should be desperate for marriage, because marriage is not a do or die, personally, right? But is that what she was saying here, that people should not be desperate for marriage? Or she was actually saying, don't prioritize marriage? Oh, it gets deeper. Let's keep going.
To making yourself learn more, aspire to being able to pay your own bills.
Aspire to be able to pay your own bills. Oh, as with respect to what? Because anytime we say something, it needs to be as a frame of reference to something else for us to really make a meaningful meaning out of it, right? Because I could just say, don't marry. At some point I say, what do you mean? Don't marry. You know what I mean, sir? Like, and don't marry. See, the same words, but one is injected with a little bit of condescension, maybe sarcasm. Maybe really what I want to say is that get your ass to go and marry right now. But I said, don't marry. But with my facial expression, maybe it doesn't have to be that deep. Maybe like, and don't marry. Right? The same words carry different meanings. Those underlying meanings, that's where the poisons are. Not the words, the meanings, the underlying meanings. That's where the poisons are. So sometimes you're speaking to gullible people and you don't mean any harm. Your intentions are great, but they read a different meaning to what you're saying. And that meaning they read to it is poisonous. Is that your responsibility? No, it is fully theirs. But when you're an influential person, an influencer at the level of CHIAMAMANDA or Solomon BUCHI, who in his own right has his own over 300,000 monitoring spirit. Check this out. 317,000 people follow this dude. Then you are responsible, right? It's just better to take some responsibility on how people interpret what you have to say. Aspire to confidence for yourself. You cannot waste your life looking for a man to marry you. When she said that, I'm like, oh, she's trying to say, don't waste your life looking for a man to marry you. Now, in America here, a lot of people believe that people go to college and they look for a husband. Not to look for a husband, but they shine their eyes just in case there's a husband around the corner somewhere. So you see how that's a little different, right? But when people start to talk about this on the internet, it almost sounds like you're asking people to be desperate for looking for husbands in university. And so when black people compare themselves to the white people, they might say things like, they're always looking, but they're trying to say, no, they pay attention just in case there's a husband, just in case you meet a husband, as opposed to, no, what do we black people do? Black people are like, no, including men, by the way. Don't pay attention. Don't worry about marriage for now. Make sure you get all your degrees. Make sure you go all the way to PhD before you worry about marriage. The parent that said that, did they say don't pay attention to in case there's a husband? They didn't say that. But sometimes you might end up with a child who might take that to heart, all the way to heart. And when they see anything that smells like a husband, I said, no, Papi said no husband until after PhD. Except that Papi is not going to be husband after PhD. And Papi is, when he's after PhD, Papi will now say, when are you bringing any interesting friends you want to bring home? Show us your friends. You know, they're still not telling you anything directly. They're like, show us your friends. make sure so that we get to know your friends, what they're trying. That's the pressure. That's the pressure. They're not going to tell you because they love you, especially a papi that told you to wait until PhD before you shine your eyes.
Everything I do, I will. Pressure to what?
That's the pressure. The pressure will start subtly, right? By the second year, by the third year, they're like, hey, we would like to carry our grandchild once upon a time. It almost like it gets worse. And then sometimes they're not really pressurizing you. They might say, oh, there's a favorite prophet of ours that we used to know. Oh, that guy prayed for so many people. Many people have children. They have their family now. They have the pressure. The pressure.
Everything I do, I will. Pressure to what?
Pressure. So the pressure builds and builds and builds, and you're trying to tell her, can you, and then you go straight 2 weeks and you don't pick up mommy's phone because mommy will not stop saying all these subtle things that just make you feel some type of way. You don't want to admit it's sadness because it's not sadness, because after all, you're a big CHIAMAMANDA follower and you should not aspire for marriage, right? And you can't stand Solomon BUCHI because Solomon BUCHI represent pressure.
Everything I do, I will. Pressure to what?
Confusion everywhere. None of the two of them, CHIAMAMANDA nor what's his name, Solomon BUCHI, they didn't mean any harm. Their intentions were in the right place. One person say, hey, I don't want you to start receiving all types of pressure after your PhD. The other person saying, no, I don't want you to depend on a man. All great intentions. All of them are great intentions. Right? But, big old but. That's a big old but.
Oh my days.
Yeah. Village people. Let me come. Let me just read some of your comments before we continue. As I said, Solo meant harm. Kemi, you are right. Abby says, Kemi, you are right. That's what Solomon does. He comes up with controversial angles that go against feminism. His biggest customers are feminists on X. He enjoys riling them up for relevance. Okay. Toby and Tribe says, I don't blame CHIAMAMANDA. Nigerian mothers constantly push their daughters to get married and they end up stressed and make the wrong decisions. Just aspire to growth and a good life, whatever that means. Okay, all right, I'm with you. See, I'm on the fence. I love the fence here. I'm enjoying my fence. Ola is pandering to them because he wants panties in the DM. I'm enjoying, but at least you can think for yourself, right? Because there's no absolute here. There's pressure in the beginning, there's pressure at the end. Life is pressure, right? So intentions are overrated. Okay, intentions are overrated, or lack thereof are overrated. So there are poisons inside what everybody says. It is your responsibility to discern the poisons. Okay, it's your responsibility. On this topic, I skew more towards Solomon BUCHI's side, because aspiring for anything you want to do successfully, there is no what's the word? There's no alternative to it. Okay, there's no alternative to it. That needs to be said exactly that way. There's no alternative to it. Anything, you notice I just said anything you aspire to do successfully, there's no alternative to aspiring to it. But then it becomes a matter of semantics. If you don't listen all the way to what CHIAMAMANDA is saying, she literally just don't want you to be desperate, right? But what types of people follow her? A lot of people, they follow a certain type of people. You just said Solomon BUCHI rouse people up because they follow because of the feminism, right? I think CHIAMAMANDA falls in the same category. It just happened to be the flip extreme side of it, right? CHIAMAMANDA identifies as a feminist. It's possible it's just disagreeing with that due to profiling, interpretation, and misinterpretation of that word. Yep. Most of us have been taught to go to school before marriage etc. before marriage because there are priorities. Yes, absolutely. But some people misinterpret the priorities, right? For some reason, I believe Solomon Buchi knew and understood the context CHIAMAMANDA was discussing. He just decided to say something, so it sounds right to some extent. No, I feel what he's feeling there. What I feel what he's feeling there is that he's taking it beyond just CHIAMAMANDA, right? It's not just CHIAMAMANDA. It's more so about people that would take what CHIAMAMANDA said at face value, right? At face value, maybe because they've aspired to marriage and the result of it hasn't been great, right? So they feel the need to flip to extreme side. It's like, no, she's saying aspire. She didn't mean desperate. Okay, let's not even worry about that. You should aspire for marriage. If you have intentions to do marriage intentionally and successfully at some point, you should absolutely aspire to marriage, and you should stay away from rhetorics such as marriage is not an achievement, because wherever you heard that from, they might not mean how you're going to interpret it. They might be speaking from a different context entirely, right? So the people that tend to go around the internet saying marriage is not an achievement right now, do yourself a favor, ask them and say, hey, tell me what you mean. Just have them talk a little bit longer, and then the truth will come out. Now, tell them can you give me some examples? Give me some examples. And then you will notice that they are no longer coming from a place of innocence. And that's dangerous when we call something a move of faith, like walking, like you aspire for greatness, like you're an entrepreneur getting started. The person who has failed at building businesses come and start preaching to you and say, hey, that entrepreneurship nonsense, don't do it. 9 to 5 is safer. Don't do entrepreneurship. 95% of businesses will fail. And that's all you hear over and over and over again. And your spirit says, but I know that I want to be an entrepreneur. I am going to be one of the top 3% of entrepreneurs. Is it an entrepreneurship thing? No, it's the concept of don't allow people that have maybe failed to control your narrative. Should you learn from them? Yes, learn the things not to do. There are some specifics, not the overall. There's some specific moves that they made that wasn't beneficial for their journey. If you have time to find out what those things are, and then you learn from them, and then you get started on your own journey, okay? As opposed to say, entrepreneurship, hustle, the hustle culture is just dangerous. We shouldn't have kids leaving school to go and do entrepreneurship. That's a dangerous language too. That's also a dangerous language, because our world, the civilization in our world were built on people that had audacity to push against whatever they call realistic, right? Anybody can just come and say, I'm just being realistic. Don't try that thing. Are they being realistic or they are projecting? Right? So it's not about CHIAMAMANDA. It's not about Solomon Buchi. It's about what have you been listening to all along. Mario says, what does aspire mean? That would be a good point. Aspire, let's pull it up. I think I'm actually interested in knowing too. Aspire. Should I use ChatGPT or Google? Aspire definition. All right, so I see something here. Let's pull it up. Let's have it. All right, so let's address this one real quick. Okay, there you go. Aspire, direct, that's the first one that came up. Direct one's hope or ambitions towards achieving something. The keyword here is what? Hope? Is it hope or ambitions? Ambitious or achieving something. All right. So if we aspire for marriage, direct one's hope, or that means it's one or either the other one, right? Or ambitions towards somebody being ambitious about getting married, achieving marriage. What's the right answer to this one right now? Marriage is not an achievement. Abi, what's the right follow-up? Marriage is not an achievement, Abi. Do not aspire to achieve marriage. It starts to sound like witch hunt, like some kind of witchcraft statement, right? Let me see here. Let's go to the second one. Let me pull up the second one. Aspire, literary. They said literary means rise high, a tower. Okay, it's just a name or something. It's the name of a place. Let me see. And it's from the word Latin. From the word Latin to, or spira, or aspira. Okay, all right. That word has taken on different meanings over time as well. Let me see here. Let me show you guys. It's taking on different meanings. What do you mean by aspire? To long, aim, or seek ambitiously, be eagerly desirous, especially for something great or higher value. Okay. This one will go shalaye tired. I'm not sure if I'm ready for it. Honestly, to be honest with you. Let me pull this one up. And then I'll just engage you guys. How about that? Aspire, this one right here. Check this one out. Aspire, to long, aim, or seek ambitiously. Ambition is a keyword, because that kind of gives it's a qualification, right? To eagerly desirous. Eagerly can also translate to desperate. Yes, it can, right? So obviously I would never agree that you should chase after marriage desperately. Obviously, now, right? Especially for something great or higher value. Is marriage of greater value? Marriage is of greater value? Let's do like a quick poll here. This will be a good one. Marriage, 91% have hit my like button. I appreciate you guys. It's Saturday. Love it. I love it. Thank you guys for hitting the like button. We have 32 people watching live. Hit the like button. We're missing about 12 people. Hit the like button. Let's set up a quick poll. Marriage is of greater value than being single. All right, yes or no? Let's go for it. Let's have it. It's a trick question, actually. It's a trick question, so think about it properly before we continue. I think I don't need to keep playing that video. We've done it justice. I think we've done it justice. We have one more comment from Solomon Buchi to cover, and then we'll continue. Let me see here. Come on, guys. It's a trick question. Full chest. Tell me what you mean with your full chest. Please tell me with your full chest. This is very, very important. This is very, very, very important. Okay? There's no right and wrong answer. The only thing that can be wrong in this is coconut head. Can't be, because sometimes you need a little bit of coconut head to live your own life. So that you don't just have the society just swinging you left and right. Sometimes you do. Just know what you're doing if you're swimming against the trend, because if you don't know what you're doing, you can drown. Okay. Full chest. I'm waiting for the answer. I'm gonna look at the answer in a second here. Full chest. Tell me what you mean, how you feel with your full chest. There's no right and wrong answer. There's no right and wrong answer. There's no right and wrong answer. I'm going to look at the poll and then we'll continue the conversation. Wow. Okay. How many votes? Let me see. Out of 6 votes. Come on, guys. Use the poll. 6 votes. I can't really tell. I'll use the poll, but I can't really tell from 6 votes. You know. But just give me how you mean so I can interpret it, because the poll will tell us more of the truth. Use the poll. We got 8 votes now. Use the poll. Let's get some words out here. Then I will just interpret it. Then we'll take it from there. Then I'll give you my own personal opinion. Then we'll take it from there. We've got some other stories to cover, by the way. Chilling. Let's see. All right. So I'll leave it hanging there for a few more minutes. Let me come to the Let me come to the chat. Abby said, does it mean that every year that passes, you breathe out and say, oh, we've achieved another year? No, not necessarily. But it has an impact on your overall outcome in life. Not just you, but children. So at some point in the conversation, we also have to really put ourselves aside and just consider children, right? In fact, we do have the purpose. We have as part of our core here, we have purposes of marriage here. The 7 purposes of marriage. Romance. I put romance top because it's 2025. It's not 1967. Don't let anybody cajole you or manipulate you into marriage because it's not about happiness. Life is about happiness. How about that? Don't let anybody say it's not about happiness and so you just go and get married anyhow. No, don't do that. 1, romance. Okay. Most places you go to around the world that people care to go to, arranging marriage is becoming more and more of an obsolete thing. You need to have a sense of attraction, not just physical, obviously, but be attracted to a person you're married to, because that will get tested anyway. So why not start on a good note? Number 2, companionship, of course. Number 3, family and legacy. So about children, remember? Children, if that's something you care for, right? Number 4, multiplying and nation building. It's not just about you. Again. Number 5, legal life hack. There's a legal life hack here, especially if you do it right. Especially if you do it right. Okay. Life is tough. Life is very difficult. Life is tough. To just go at life alone is tough. But don't just use that and say, I'll just get with anybody. No, of course not, right? It has to be done right. Number 6, significance and recognition. It's a thing. It adds value to people. Obviously, not necessarily the value you think is value, but just society in general think of that as value. And number 7, personal growth. I'm just discovering myself. Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean? Discover yourself? You can discover yourself single if you're coming out of a relationship, yes. But you've never been with a person, you're discovering yourself, you're lying to yourself. Okay? You're lying to yourself. You know what? Discovering yourself as against what? What's the benchmark here? But you hear people say that all the time just to feel good in the short term. Some people are in a relationship and they need to stop the relationship in its track and discover themselves. Yes. But it's because they're coming out of a relationship. If you've never been with a person and you've always been single and you want to discover yourself with respect to how you would operate in a romantic relationship, you need to put yourself out there and take some risk. Maybe for the first time in your life. Yeah, put yourself out there. Okay? You're not discovering yourself. You are afraid. You're scared shitless of life. You're not discovering anything new. All right, so those are the 7 purposes that we've identified here. They're all valuable. But all of those things will destroy your value if you don't do it right. Okay? All right, so let me see here. Let's see. All right, so Chinya said the first achievement in this contest is achieving getting married. The other achievement that comes afterwards is having a successful marriage, which is an ongoing until you buy it as a fact. I agreed with that. It doesn't end until you end, just like life, right? Chinya, but it was successful this year and isn't next year. So what next, 6? We address it at that point in time. That's just how it works. This, again, just like life, right? It's an institution. It's not a one-time event, right? The wedding is a one-time event. Yes, marriage is definitely of greater value, Chinya said. Mario says, what a disingenuous poll. Let's see how far it's gone. That poll is still going though. Wait, who is voting in and out? Somebody is changing their votes in and out. Somebody is playing with the poll in and out. I have 12 votes, but somebody is playing with it. Maybe 1 or 2 people can make up their mind. I'm going to go through the chat first, and then we'll come back to the poll. Let's see. MOP, put a third option, indifferent. No. That makes it easy. That puts confused people in the game. I don't want confused people in the game. Sorry. Please add it depends. Add it depends to the poll. This poll is wrong. No. I disagree. Anyway, marriage isn't always of greater value. Please, you see, you are adding context to it. Leave the context out of it. Just look at that statement as is, and give me your best answer. And if you can't, stay on the fence. Stay out of the poll. Right? There's more than enough people staying out of the poll. Right now, I have 12 votes, and about 30 people are watching. And that's fair. This is life, right? Sometimes some people need to stay on the fence, stay in the sidelines, right? You want to win in the game of life? You have to get out of the sideline. You have to get in the game. You have to take some risk. You have to put yourself out there. Nothing is guaranteed, of course, right? Yeah, that's life. I really like this. Tranquil Pulse put a good marriage is of greater value. You're adding context. We don't need the context. Rest in Jesus' name. Than being single, which is why I put yes. She's a good marriage. That's why she puts yes. A good marriage. But we don't need the context. Right? A good marriage. See, when you add the context, you see how you say a good marriage and you end up with yes. Some people will say a good marriage is of greater value than being single, and that's why I'm going to put no. Think about that. Right? So now when people are listening to CHIAMAMANDA and they interpret don't aspire for marriage as marriage is not an achievement, you see how that goes? There's going to be more than enough confused people in the audience. More than enough. So at some point, when their results in our society start to show confusion, people that are married are divorcing. People that are single, they are struggling to identify who is a good man, who is a good woman. They are threatening each other with gender war rhetoric on the internet. Don't you think we have to start to choose a side, regardless of how confusing it might be? So even me, I like to be on the fence. That's my comfort zone because I believe in it depends. I think it's one of the most scary things for people to say it depends. But at some point, you have to be decisive when it comes to life. Because if you're not decisive, you can also easily become the devil's target. You can become a walking red flag if you're not a decisive person. All right, so Toby and Tribe says value to woo. We all have different values. That's the depending thing. It depends on what does it depend? You're adding context. Me and you like this, but today is a little bit different. We're getting somewhere. I'm helping you guys now with the poll, but we'll read it in a second. Mara says she was talking about being a functioning adult. You're talking about being single. Okay, but she was talking about marriage. Okay, also in that same series of statements. So again, it depends on how you see it. Some people read. Me and you can be inside the same classroom, and we're hearing two different things. Don't we know that? We know that now. So let's keep it moving. I'm just reading the chat. Thank God I read this chat. So these are very interesting chats. So was marriage of great value to Annie Idibia? Why? Because she had children or what? Let me start that. I might come back to that. That's a good question. Chia said, you continue to strive for the success and ongoing effort. The same thing you would do in your career, at your job, right? In your career, in life. Same thing, right? Just because you were successful last year doesn't mean you don't go get fired next year, right? So is it good to go find a job? That's a cheat sheet right there. Is it good to maintain a good career? No, you got laid off yesterday with all the Doge people. Doge entered the scene and destroyed jobs for everybody. People that thought they had secured federal jobs, they just got laid off. Having a good career may not be a good idea for people. What's the point of it since you can just get fired anyway, right? What's the point? I'm just making an argument. That's why the third option is necessary. No, if you're not voting, I already know you're on the sidelines. Okay, and that's fine. Women should not see marriage as an achievement, in my opinion. Now, so they start. Should men see marriage as an achievement? So now your statement creates another question. Should men see marriage as an achievement? Let me put that on the side here for a second. Should men see marriage? No, let me put it true or false. Let me frame it as true or false. Men should see marriage as an achievement. Hopefully you're answering with your personal belief. MOP, make the poll complete with third option first. You guys are relentless on this one. You didn't have to pay your bills because many Nigerian women can't afford their lives, which is what she was saying. Listen, I'm with CHIAMAMANDA. CHIAMAMANDA is a very smart, intelligent woman, and she's smart enough to know that some people are misinterpreting her words. In fact, there was a video, I forgot, there's a video some few months ago where some people were really like, some people said some things and she was like, I'm a married woman, are you okay? And then suddenly some people felt disappointed. Why? Because she's a married woman. You never see anything yet. You'll be shocked.
I never expected it.
You'll be shocked how people interpret stuff. When you're an influencer, you do have to pay attention to people that might be misinterpreting your advocacy and things like that, you know, which is why we should continue to have these conversations anyway, you know. Making children the center of the achievement of marriage is what causes people to stay in a marriage that doesn't serve them, a marriage full of abuse. So there is making children the center of a marriage. There's also making children the center of a marriage. No, let me repeat that. There is making children the center of a marriage. There is making children the center of the underlying relationship in that marriage. Those are two different things. For every marriage, there's an underlying relationship, right? But marriage is what it is. It's marriage. Marriage, some people say, is a business. Many of them, they're right. Okay, depending on the context they're coming from. Sometimes they use it to manipulate people to stay just because. Never mind the underlying relationship, just stay. I disagree, right? So making children the center of the underlying relationship. An example, when your focus is just your children, you don't pay attention to your husband, because after all, he's a grown man and he's achieved what he wanted. He has a wife and a children. He doesn't need to be checked on, right? He doesn't need. He's a man. Just be a man. Are you a child? Just be a man, right? And if they ask you a question, would you choose your children over your husband? You say, I would choose my children. Maybe not you, but somebody out there is thinking that way, right? They will choose their children over their husband, right? And it's not necessarily the choosing, it's the mindset, right? So in that case, right, that woman, in the name of let's not do marriage because of children, they are actually choosing the children over. Context matters. It matters. So hopefully that addressed this point. I think this is good, something to highlight in this conversation. We owe it to society. Tranquil Pause, we owe it to society to produce and train healthy individuals. So you can just marry. You can't just marry anybody just because. I agree 100%. I saw one elderly actress, Binta Mogaji. I know her. That's Memuna. What else do we call her? We call her a different name too. Is that her name? Mogaji? Yeah, I know her. There's another name that we call her. Bintama said, ladies of 35 years and above without husbands should look for someone to get them pregnant. What a crazy statement. Rada. Okay, so I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't advise anybody to do that, right? In the Garden of Eden, yes, marriage is of greater value. Just don't eat apple. Chidima, that's another angle entirely. Somebody actually brought up that example yesterday on this internet streets, and they brought that example up to, what was the person was trying to justify and forgot completely that Adam actually ate the apple too. The problem didn't start when the actual problem did not start when Eve started to get tempted or when she succumbed to the devil's temptation. The problem started when Adam did not have enough backbone, leadership backbone, to keep that household in order. That's when the problem started. Okay, wait, He said what? No. That's not the instruction from God. No. Wait, you ate what? Okay, give me the apple. Okay, we're gonna throw it away. What did he do? He did not have enough backbone. He followed his lady, and they ate apple together, and then they found out. Don't let us do Bible today. Let's leave it alone. On Instablog now, a man say them way build solo bush meat to UK. Kai, wait, what? I missed that. My pigeon is not that strong. Uncle Ola, I need the context to. We're here. We're getting through it now. Also, now a man say that them way build Solomon Bush. Size. My pigeon is not that strong. What's way build? You guys in UK might know what that is. What is way build? Isa is true now, only to tell his DHL service provider that she's not the most beautiful and she's not the most intelligent. Yeah, he said it indirectly. He didn't know how to talk. I remember that story. He was talking too much. That's what happens when you talk too much. You will basically talk out of your ass. It's only a matter of time. But I think he loves this. I think he loves his wife. It's like somebody coming to me and saying, so when you first met, what did you think about your wife? When we first met, I didn't think she was a beautiful woman. You know what I mean? Internet feminists will drag your balls. So that was something like that he said. I think he loves his girl though. Kemi said, MOP, when next you put up a poll that I'm not agreeing with, myself will sit on the fence. By the way, I voted marriage is a greater value in the context of a healthy marriage. Kemi, I'm trying to read your mindset. I cannot read your mindset if I give you a maybe depends. No, I cannot, because you will choose the fence. Okay. Abby says, that's actually my approach towards relationship. If you can work hard at your job, you can at your relationship. That's it, Abby. So simple, but yet difficult. If you don't collect for these streets, if you as a man have collected shege from a woman, you too, you will say you need a depend. Right? Gentlemen, right? If you as a woman, you have collected shege from a man, you will need a depend. You will need a depend. But no, I don't want to. I want to read your mindset. Now you guys are getting it. See, it takes time. I think everybody should see a good marriage as an achievement so that we can all bring our best foot forward. See how that works. I didn't even read the poll yet. Abby said yes, marriage should be an achievement to men. How? Tell me how. How should it be an achievement to men but not women? Tell me. Any small thing they still cry for women to help them. Shebi they said men are babies. Who said that? There's context. Tell me the rest of the context. Tell me the rest of the story. There's a reason why somebody said men are babies. Kevin, I'm with you. I followed your reasoning and voted yes, but next time I'm protesting. Yes, your Mogaji, that's our other name. I was trying to remember. Thank you, Marriott. Yes, so we'll protest with MOP and chill on the fence. No, you know you have an urge to shalaye. You know you want to back.
Explain, because no evidence.
So I know how to sit on the fence. Most of you don't know how to sit on the fence. Yeah. Tell me how you feel. Tell me, don't just sit on the fence. There are people that have unsubscribed from this page because they never know which side are falling. Enjoying the solo husband. Oh, enjoying the solo house husband of UK. Drag on Instablog right now. Leave that man alone. I think he's a fine young man. You think he's evolving. That's what I think personally. I think you guys are going to grow to respect him in about 5 years, 10 years. Because I've seen him actually adjust certain rhetoric. I think he pays attention. I know people that don't pay attention. You see, very dark man. Very dark man. Hey, coconut head. That one, you get what you see. You see what you get. Whistle wig. You're correct, MOP. That has always been my position. There is no apple in the Bible passage. There's none, right? That's why I don't quote the Bible. Oh, Lord have mercy. I'm aware the fruit wasn't named. See, it's the fruit that wasn't named. I just used general. Oh God, shall I? You go explain.
You go explain because no evidence.
You know, God love his destiny help. Okay, you guys are dragging because of his girl. Oh, may God help you. Everybody has been imported. Both sides of the gender has been imported, one way or the other. Oh God, he's now British. He posted his passport. Oh, congratulations to Solomon Bucci. Now no go drag him tire like this. Marriott, because of the boat he wears on his head. All right, so are you guys finished, Shalaye? Because we're getting to it. I think you guys are tired now. I think you guys get the gist. I'll come to the poll in a second. Is that not what older people say? Men are like babies, aka as a woman, be dumb. No. Yeah, that's why when we say that, there are men that have literally taken women as children out of context because there's a Dumbo on the internet who was saying it and didn't spend enough time adding context to what they're saying. And to be fair to them, it's hard to add context on these internet streets. You go just Shalaye tired.
You go explain because no evidence.
You know, women are children, you know. I don't say that just to say it's sake. I usually, if I've ever said anything like that or anything remotely close to it, I'll give an example of when my father-in-law was giving me a word of wisdom with regards to, because I was doing too much Shalaye, I would say she did this, she did that, she did this, she did that. And at one point, the young man, he's a 60-year-old young man now, my father-in-law, great man, he now said, Ola, come here, okay, come here. He's basically saying that all these little things that you are nitpicking about your wife, you go Shalaye Taya. I said, why don't you think of her as, in case you haven't detected in the past 2 minutes, okay, not 2 minutes, maybe 60 seconds here, I didn't want to say the word. The words he used that you have to treat women like 5-year-olds. At that time, I think one of my children were like 5 years old. One of my sons. I think he was like 5 at the time. He's now 15 years old. 14. And he was like, you have to treat like they're like 5. Like, there's a context to that. He's trying to say, hey, this guy, why are you addressing every small, you are ending up in argument every other day with your wife. There's a context to it. So now, how long am I going to, if I have to come and I put a title up and I spend the rest of the time talking about how women are like 5 years old, and I keep repeating it, the women like are 5 years old, right? It's natural that you guys will take an offense to that, right? So if somebody said men are children, I need you to tell me the rest of the story. They were trying to say something, and the same thing with when they say women are like dumb. Why would anybody say women are dumb? I would never say women are dumb. I expect to be dragged through the streets of the internet if I ever say that. So no, give me the rest of the story, Abby. Remember, try to remember. Please, I don't have 5 years for Bucci. Give him 5 years. He's adjusting. Who will respect Solomon? I don't have forgiving spirit. Though. To me, there's no difference between VDM and there's no difference between Solomon. Come on now. Anyway, let me see what the poll says. The poll ended at, let's see. Marriage is of greater value than being single. The poll, no. People said 58% of people say no, and 41% of the votes, 12 votes, said yes. How should we interpret that? Well, obviously, it's not going to be as simple as just agreeing with this, with the biggest side. The biggest side has said no, marriage is of no greater value than being single. How should we interpret that? All right. Me and you have a choice here. We can just go with the greater side. 51%. 51% said marriage is of no greater value. Chidima says, interpretation, your poll is a scam. It's 12 votes. We can use 12 votes just for the sake of the conversation. At 6 votes would have been very difficult for me to interpret it, but 12, I think I can rock with 12, considering that we're only 30 here hanging out. How should we interpret that? Should we just go with the greater side? Maybe we should look deeper into it. What is the wise thing to do? What is the wise thing to do here? Should we go with the greater side of that poll? And if you're watching this later, I want you to also participate. Just tell me what you think about that poll. What is the wise thing to do? We're all scientists in 2025. It just makes sense. Let's just go with stats and facts. Facts all day long. Greatest achievement of them all. Just be a scientist. The fact is the truth. You can't argue with the facts. The fact says, the statistic, there was a study that was done on a channel, on a YouTube channel called Man of Prestige, which shows that marriage is becoming something obsolete. People no longer care about marriage anymore.
Don't care, don't care, don't care, still don't care. I don't care, I don't care.
People don't care about marriage anymore. They just want to impregnate people. They just want to receive impregnations.
Funke!
Why did I call Funke? Do you know that video? That video that just said Funke. That video is from a prank. The boy, the 16-year-old boy at the time, he must be about 67 now. He pranked his dad that he had impregnated a person. How should we interpret this now? Solomon Buchi don't die. How should we interpret this? Should we go with be scientists and go with the greater side? Solomon Buchi and CHIAMAMANDA studies was conducted using once upon a time in 2025 Solomon Buchi versus Mario, do you know how you guys used to quote cases from 1967? Solomon Buchi's from the case of Solomon Buchi versus CHIAMAMANDA. Once upon a time, the study was conducted with some very, very intelligent ladies and gentlemen. About 12 of them conducted. It's a full jury size, right? And they voted unanimously. Marriage is no longer important. We don't need a judge. There's no need for sentencing. Let's just go with that.
He shock you.
What did I miss? We don't care. We don't care about marriage.
Don't care, don't care, don't care, still don't care. I don't care, I don't care.
What should we do now? What should we do? Let me see. Let me. I'm trying to come to the top of the chat where I left off. Buti Sorolo. Okay, all right. Let me read this Abby's comment. There is no story, Uncle Ola. It's a common advice amongst Nigerian women, often from one older Nigerian woman to a younger. There's always say men are like babies. You see why it's poisonous, right? Because if you are not capable of taking the time to go through the context of what that is, people are going to. It's poisonous. It's bad. That's why we're here to analyze all these things all the way down to as far as we can, because we go shalaye tired last, because some people are going to get what they're going to get. They're going to interpret what they're going to get. So always forgive. First of all, forgiveness is not something you can manipulate people to do. If they pretend they forgive you and it's not real, you go collect. Wise thing to do, take your L and go. Now I can dig deeper into your taking your L. What does that mean? I could say, let me take my L with the H. Let me take my L. Go for big. Let me take my L, right? And say, okay, people no longer value marriages. Let's just conclude. Or why don't they value marriages? And then we'll continue our shalaye. We can ask why they don't value marriages, and then we'll continue. Or we can just conclude, when in fact, they might just be speaking from a place of emotion. It's because I did not put the word depend. If I had put the word depend, would that number be as good as 51%? Think about it. Think. If I had put the word depend, answer me in the chat. Would that number be as great as 51%? Be honest. Be honest. We grew up on that advice that men weren't held accountable. No, they are. Men are accountable. If I go with society, men are the most to be held accountable. They can't afford to be stupid. Women can afford to literally be stupid. We will save them, literally. We might not save them as a wife, but we will save them as a society, right? Think about it like this. If a woman is hanging out on the street and she's on the floor in front of our building over there, right, and she's naked, we will cover her. Maybe not even naked, but she's acting kind of erratic. We will cover her. If a man is acting erratic, we will close our doors and call the police. If a woman is acting erratic, we're like, what's going on with that? You see, men are accountable. They don't have to choose to be accountable at the society level. If we're going to talk general, if we're talking about in a relationship level, then we have to bring it down to that specific relationship. Okay, men in fact cannot afford to be stupid, because that's why this numbers is showing these numbers, because women are dumping them left and right, and it hurts once they get, it doesn't hurt before they get dumped, but it hurts when they see the statistics, and yet they're not reading the statistics properly. They say 70% of women are initiating divorce. Okay, why? It's not just as simple as they just don't want family. Why? We need to get to the root of the conversation. So the real answer is it depends, but I didn't want that in the poll. I didn't want that in the poll because I wanted to pick your mindset. The mindset we're reading here is that people don't collect. Sorry. That's what the poll tells me. That's my interpretation. Una don't collect. Relationship is tough. The dating pool is a cesspool. That's what they said. Marriage is very common. I'm Yoruba and Igbo, and it's on both ends. Can't speak for any other tribe. Is marriage obsolete, or your 12 voters are telling you people's existence, married or single, is not lower than the other? I think I'm already interpreting it. It's telling me people don't collect. So when people have had experiences, it of course skews their mindset in a certain direction, but it doesn't change what they want, though. Apostle Moya, or this campo, it doesn't change what they want. What they want is still what they want, you know. People care about, but they are not putting on their head like gala again. Yes, I agree with that. It will be a tragedy for any generation to discard marriage. That's where we are. Sexual liberation. People are knocking, but they don't want to be married. They are afraid of getting married. What do you think that creates? Your guess is as good as mine. They are knocking. They are knocking recklessly. Many of them are not even strapping it up, but they are knocking recklessly. They're in relationships, sometimes in multiple relationships at the same time. They want to be free, egalitarian, right? I like freedom too, don't get it twisted. Now, should I be in the pursuit of freedom? Absolute freedom, but just freedom. That's what this generation, Gen Z generation, Marriott and Abby and them, that's what they're chasing. Just freedom. Just allow people to do what they want to do. Do you, boo? Do what works for you. Shout out to Abby and Marriott. I just felt like picking on you guys. People care about marriage, but they are not putting on their head like gala again. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. Which women did you save in Nigerian society? The ones with the highest maternal mortality rate in the world? Stop playing. Don't drag me to Shalaye now. I beg. It's really unfortunate. There are a lot of factors that contribute to that, such as the messaging on the internet, and it seems like a lot of people do not have role models to emulate. Absolutely. And they will also listen to just 2 minutes of this video where I announce the end of the poll, and they will go and create 100 contents on the internet without understanding what's going on. That's what's going on. The social media. Can we now blame social media? Nope. Social media is just a tool, a double-edged sword. It cuts both ways, right? It's up to you. You can be coming to Prestige family. I mean, you can go and be consuming toxic. It's all up to us. What is in your feed is what is in your feed. You know, I can't control it. I can only push content out, and hopefully, you are hungry enough for this type of content, right? Marriott, Uncle Ola keeps forgetting he's 1 out of 10 Nigerian men. Nigerian men do not save women. There's so many fine men out here. I can't even stress this enough, Abby. So many fine men. Really 1 out of 10? At that point, I need to speak to you. What kind of circle do you have around you? There's so many fine Nigerian men. No, don't get me wrong. There is a sector out there. There's someone's circle out there that number is true. That number is true. But there's so many other sector, and I'm not even talking family. I'm talking about just your surrounding. Just look at the last 20 people that called you on your most recent calls. He probably should tell you everything. He should tell you, look at the last 20 Nigerian men. And if this number is still true, then we need to talk, Abby. Oh, there are many people that feel that way, by the way. Maybe individual, not society-wide in Nigeria, Sha. MOP, that poll has caused you to shalaye. I know. The poll, it has. Your interpretation is correct, man of Prestige, but you're also generalizing. Of course, this is public platform. This is why I say, hey, maybe you talk to me on a personal note, because I still generalize. Last. The average Nigerian woman will choose a bear before a Nigerian man. Don't let me do another shalaye. Let me leave it alone. At this point. Nigerian men are some of the worst in the world. It's not me that said that. I think Ugandan women disagree. I think South African women disagree. I think Kenya women disagree. And I'm not talking about CP's baby mother. Guess who would agree with you? An average Nigerian woman. Go figure. An average African American woman feels like the worst men in the world is the average African men. Let me even flip it for you. An average African man feels like the worst women in the world are black African American women. Oh, we're getting somewhere. Let me leave it alone. Egbami, I'm not even Gen Z. All right, it's okay. I'm Gen Z too. We're in the Gen Z generation. It's okay. Abby said, well, it's a whole lot. I personally have a lot of marriages to look up to, including my parents' marriage, thankfully. However, even a lot of parents' marriage were toxic. I think you should highlight your parents' marriage more. We should do more work on highlighting them. Yeah, thriving on society norms only, no real love. The internet, social media is loud. Let me ask you a question, Abby and Marriott. Were you on myspace.com? Did you have a profile on myspace.com? Or High Five? Is it High Five? I think High Five, yeah. Were you, just answer and then we'll come back to it. Just tell me if you want, is it High Five? There used to be a platform called High Five, right? I think so. But let's just go with myspace.com. Did you have a profile on myspace.com? Before there was Facebook, before 2004. I'm getting somewhere here. Okay? Getting somewhere here. I'm gonna just highlight that, see if we can come back to it. Let's see. Uncle Patrick says your poll result was determined by what category of audience? Single, married, or divorced category of audience? We tell your poll. Yes, intentionally. I think it's a yes. But I did it intentionally. Nigerian men are fine until you get closer. It's either they lack emotional intelligence or one thing or the other. Nigerian men, you see your life outside? You see your life? Those of you that are enjoying marriage because you did the work, you don't have time for the internet and social media. I know, I understand. I get it. But what can we do now? What can we do for the Gen Z? Leave my life alone and come and start creating content. I don't know, What can we do? Maybe we can do. Maybe I can do like a seasonal podcast every year. I'm thinking aloud. You guys encourage me if you want me to do it, and find 13 fine Nigerian gentlemen every year that have at least, what should we do, like 5 years or 8 years? 5 or 8 years. They said the average marriage is 8 years, right? Maybe they have had at least 8 years. In their personal opinion, they think there's room for improvement, of course, but they're not doing too badly. And I can assess it. I'll see they're not doing badly, and they can spend an hour with me, an hour with me, and then we could do like a yearly seasonal 13 episodes. Maybe, if I get enough encouragement, I might do something like that. But I know too many of them, And if I didn't know too many of them, they can refer. There's a new podcast called Afropolitan. And what they do at the end of every podcast, they'll say, "What do you think we should have?" Or they do like Afrobeat, entertainment industry type of content, and also tech. That's the kind of content they cover. And at the end of every episode, they say, "What do you think we should have on this episode to come and tell their story?" And I thought that was a good idea to, they will keep a list of inviting people. Maybe we can do something like that, so we can highlight it more. Because clearly, the ones that are loudest on the internet, they are not representing us well. Nigeria, may see our life in these streets, you see? Anyway, maybe Uncle Patrick can help me identify some of those people too. Yes, this is why the sample is small, right? So, no kidding, I had and still have to unlearn a lot of things I picked up from my parents' marriage. Almost my view on marriage was very weird. Yeah, it's tough, it's rough. Abby says, why are Ugandan and South African men with Nigerian men? Because they provide. Are they enjoying anything else? Somehow Nigerian men are flattered by that. Okay, no, not just that. The whitey. Like Oyibo Pepe, Oyibo woman. Have you seen, what's her name? Ifunaya's uncle with that Oyibo Pepe woman? Did you see that? Did you see how ride or die she went to the hospital with him? Why are you people dragging black men and women like this? All people are the same. Okola, I'm not answering that question. I even forgot the question. I forgot the question. It's okay. Stop showing your age, MOP. I'm 45. Did I say 45? I'm Gen Z. Okola, you are making me feel old. High five in what year? Was it high five? It was a high five, right? So none of you guys had high five on MySpace? No? None of you had high five on MySpace? So the only thing the reason why I asked that question is because she said she won't answer the question. The reason why I said that question is because the only thing you guys know as that created your rhetoric, not the only thing, but one of the major things is social media. See, I came from the era when social media wasn't a thing, okay? So, and if you don't have any significant experience with just your youth developing in years that you had flip phones that did not have internet on it, the best you can do is text message, or there was no phone, period. I mean, you had to go to a pay phone. I told you when I used to try to call Nigeria, I was here by myself. I used to have to go to a specific park. There's a specific payphone that will get through to Nigeria. Any other payphone will not get through to Nigeria. The landline in the house will not get through to Nigeria. So I take a calling card to that specific payphone. It might have been my head, but I just know that when I get there, before I try 3 times to get through to Nigeria. If you don't come from that era, what you know is the loud people on the internet. Of course, all Nigerian men are bad. 10 out of 10 Nigerian men are just bad. I understand. I feel your pain. I feel it, Marriott, we fight all the time on the Mom of 5 live streams. I'm used to Uncle Kidola. Uncle Kidola is my G. That's my guy. He said he will call in now. Uncle Kidola, please call in. The link is pinned to the top. Gen Z men think they have options and shouldn't put the work in. Editing past career doesn't not need evolving. That's a good point. That's very, very true. You know why? Social media. Because illusion of options, perception is just as real as the delusion in it. That's one of the major problems. Congratulations to Nigerian men. Nothing concern us Nigerian men with their non-Nigerian babes. Okay, all right. Uncle, I'm 28. I only had Facebook. Oh, you only have Facebook, Abby. Your struggles are different from some of ours. Chia says I'm like the same age as Chia. Of course, Chia had i5 on MySpace. I really liked high five. Yes, high five, not with the food. That's what was confusing me. It was high five. High five. I wonder if high five still exists. Let me see. High five still exists. High five was the social media. They still do, or they have a page. Wait a minute. What is this? The social network for meeting new people. It don't become dating scene. Oh God. Oh no. Anyway, we used to kind of sort of have to meet people up there, but no. Let's get back to Solomon Buchi. I went through that era too of cyber cafe in Lagos. Okay, so you had cyber cafe in Lagos, right? Still, but if you were 28 now, era of cyber cafe, you're like a child. Did you go to cyber cafe by yourself ever? No, you just knew it existed. No. Calling card, blood off. My friends used to finish their pocket money calling boyfriends in Nigeria. Oh, yeah. Gamola says days of pager. When you start saying these things, some people will just come out of the woodworks from listening and not chatting for the last 6 years. Shout out to Gamola. Good to see you. Anyway, the point of all of this is just to tell you that your greatest power is your mindset. Be careful what you feed it. I understand that you are swimming against a massive trend. We call it social media. And the loudest people on social media are the weirdos. I know. They're the weirdos, right? The loudest people among the content creators, the most popular ones are the weirdos. Okay. So, and if you're not, what's the word? If you're not polarized enough, you're not going to get action in this social media street. You know why? Because people tend to become polarized when they don't collect shege in this life. So they think in binaries. So the only way I can really get something out of this poll today is to make it a binary. But you guys already know I don't do binary, right? We don't do black and white. We don't do yes or no. We don't do, we only do if we want to do something like this kind of exercise. But the end story is to say, hey, this whole thing called life is a spectrum, right? In some aspects of life, sometimes we need to yield to binaries, right? Sometimes we need to create rules, binary-based rules. Why? Because we are not binary as people. Sometimes we need to say, hey, don't do what works for you. That we're already doing that. We need principles that works. That we kind of know that after looking at a series of successful marriages, this is what has worked, regardless of what generation. What worked in any generation is not because the woman was just always cooking and her office was the kitchen. No, that is very, very that's myopic. What works was not because he was helping you change diapers. That's surface level stupid stuff. Okay? What worked was kindness, patience. Love is kind, love is patient, right? What works is commitment. Sometimes it's not going to feel good in the short term, which is why some people will say it's not about happiness. No, it's still about happiness. But you can't use a moment of not being happy to determine the fate of your relationship. The relationship, not the marriage. Who cares about marriage? I don't give a shit about marriage, to be honest with you. I cannot do because it's an institution, but it's a function of the underlying relationship. If the underlying relationship is toxic, is trash, then the marriage is trash. That's what I mean. If at least one person is trash, it's only a matter of time before the marriage will be trash. Is it the fault of marriage? No, it is the person, the person. So getting rid of marriage and still knocking does not help anybody. It doesn't help anybody. Okay, I've given you 7 purposes of marriage, right? those purposes are attainable. You still need them: companionship, nation building, right? Legacy, life hack, so that you don't overwork yourself into pie, right? Those things are still needed, and it is still best to achieve those things within marriage. Because if you open up the walls of marriage, then anybody can do anyhow. See, it feels good to say anybody can do anyhow if it's just you, right? But when the other person who is supposed to be committed start to do anyhow, can you handle it? That's the question. Will you be able to handle it? So, the small poisons within what Solomon Buchi had to say and what CHIAMAMANDA had to say. That's my job here, to help you look at them and say, All of us have poisonous stuff that we say, by the way. You know, sometimes I get a little too condescending for my brothers here, and they'll not go and hide. They'll be listening. I might not show they're here, but they'll hide because they don't want to be dragged by the ladies in the chat. But they are listening. It's okay. Come out and talk. We want to hear you. And if you don't talk here, I will go and drag it from TikTok. We'll talk about it here. I low-key miss landline because you cannot bang the phone. Someone annoying heck. How do you just want to bang phone, eh? Stop telling on your age, yo. You're not a tranquil person, wallahi. In the future, let's say in the future, only the people who are very deliberate will succeed in relationships and marriages. There is less motivation to stay, so only the intentional will make it last. I agree 100%. I agree 100%. I think on that note, I think we should leave that side of the road. But Solomon Buchi had one more thing to say to another lady, another popular lady on the internet, and then we'll move on. Okay, if you have anything to say, please feel free to call in. It's pinned to the top. But I know you guys enjoy it. You know, the longer I talk, the longer I might not come back to the show. You guys know, you know I get burnt out with this stuff, right? So if you want to help me, come to the studio. If you have something to get off your chest. All right, so Solomon Buchi had to say, apparently, because he's a big Twitter guy too. Apparently, Sisi Yemmie said, once you start having kids, one parent, Sisi Yemmie is a popular YouTuber with, I think she has over 1 million subscribers too. She said, once you start having kids, one parent should be flexible. Can be the dad or the mom, but flexibility is important. I don't know how parents who have early work hours and close late cope. Why would anybody disagree with this wholesome statement, right? I'll tell you why anybody, if I read this statement, automatically, the only reason I can think of disagreeing with that is something else in my mindset. Something else that's a point of contention to me. That I will project. If I project my personal into it, then I will have something to say about it. So of course you can, Solomon Buchi, they carry last with this kind of stuff. So it goes, preferably the mother. Okay. Preferably. Let me make this bigger so you guys can see. Preferably the mother, because children need their mothers more in the first 3 years of their lives for the maternal nurturing care that mothers are biologically equipped to provide, which is necessary for that child to have a secure emotional attachment. Men can do this too. The internet family said no. I'm going to pretend he didn't say men can do this too. Why is it always women's fault? Why should a woman be the first 3 years? He too can grow a breast and just do God have mercy. Men can do this too, but it's not natural for fathers. Oh, it's not natural for fathers. No, it should be natural for them too. They need to grow a breast. Okay. Secondly, we need to come to terms with the fact that we cannot have it all at the same time. It's true. There will always be career breaks to raise children, though it can be economically challenging for some. It is essential to raise great children, which I think is a far more honorable and fulfilling thing to do than working for profit. Why should you make it about children? It shouldn't be about children. That's so dangerous. All right. Again, it's a career content creator. Somebody said he's a house husband. It's a career content creator. You better start taking it seriously. Content creation is a full-blown career. All right. So Solomon Buchi apparently said, all I've seen is a lot of rage. He never see anything yet. That's what he does for a living. I think he has the right to reply, especially if you're going to give him attention. I'm giving him attention, right? All I've seen is a lot of rage and no wisdom or debate from women on this thread. LOL, cheers. I haven't said one wrong or incorrect thing. Solomon Buchi also tend to be a person who think in terms of right and wrong, black and white. Yes or no, binaries. I haven't said the wrong thing. So because he didn't say a wrong thing, he didn't think it's fair for him to collect in the hands of internet feminists, baby feminists on the internet.
Sorry.
Don't be juju be that. I haven't said anything wrong.
Not be juju be that.
Alright. No, he's the one asking. No, did you be that? I didn't say anything wrong. Why are you dragging me? He forgot that Sisi Yemmie did not say anything wrong. Anyway, it's okay. Somebody says it's a two-way street, though. I think it's all types of way street. If you can dish it, please. If you're a human being, anybody can collect anytime. I haven't said one wrong or incorrect thing, and I'd expect a better argument. From who? From baby feminists on the internet? I have a new phrase, guys. Feminism is a good thing. Baby feminists are the people that I'm checking. Okay? The people that have not taken their time to know how life works before they start fighting a cause. VDM falls in that category. Alright. Someone said when these kids, they're grown up and have affinity to their mothers, they will anyway. Okay? They will. But y'all would say the mother brainwashed and bewitched them. Well, that's when they go wrong. That's where they go wrong. Can women get a break? I knew it. By the way, don't get it twisted. Being a feminist or baby feminist rather does not mean you're a man or woman. It could be any side. I've heard baby feminist men on this internet street. Oh, they're the worst. Oh God. As a father, step up. They're the one that will come to you and say, hey, we're equal. And when the woman starts to show him shege, he's like, I thought we were equal. You were equal. Continue. No, but why should I be the one leading when we are both adults? That's the baby feminist right there. Okay. You've left your father and mother, cleave to your wife, and become the one unit, the home front, the children. Again, there was nothing wrong with what Sisi Yemmie said at first. But guess who else probably was a baby feminist? Your guess is as good as mine. Guess who else was probably a baby feminist? Guess who else was probably a baby feminist? Solomon Buchi now. Solomon Buchi. It's okay. Let me read a few comments and we'll go on to the other stories that we have to cover. Abby says Mario social media and his job. Yeah, he's a content creator. Does this man have a job? Content creator. It's a social. He has 300,000 subscribers. That is a job. Leave him. Let him be playing himself. Adebusala said, what does he mean by it's not natural for a man to care for? Men don't have breasts. We don't have breasts. That's the reality. Did he say first 3 years? Let's start with the first 3 months. We don't have breasts at least, right? So at the very minimum, you can't pump our breast. It no go work. No, he didn't say anything wrong, but he started a fight. And he's also a baby feminist who thinks in binaries. It's either you are for women or you are against women. There's nothing else to learn. Solomon Buchi, they whine. He can react to Sisi Yemmie's post, but people can't react to his. Can you imagine? Because he didn't say anything correct. Did she say something incorrect? Anyway. Not natural to care for your children. I hope he's paying bills in that household in that UK. He can easily pay the bills better than that woman. Trust me. Just trust me when I tell you that. Okola, it's not by breasts. A lot of mothers can't even produce breast milk. Some or a lot? Which one? Pick one. Some or a lot? Some is still a lot. You remember that, right? We're 7 billion people here. Some or a lot? Is it some or a lot? Many mothers pump and keep. Can you pump my chest and keep? Breast is minor in the grand scheme of things. We start there now. We start there. We start there. Oh God. Oh God. Here, some can be a lot, but did you mean some? Did you mean some? Give me some so I can know what frame of reference. A lot does not tell me. A lot of human beings can be 20 people, and that is not majority. A lot or some? Abby, you have joined the gang of Marriott here. You are here to drag me. I knew it.
What?
I knew it. You are here to stretch. May God forgive you. All right, let's move on. Do you guys have anything else to say? Anything else to say? Right now, the brothers are feeling sweet behind. They say like, yeah, Allah has our back today. He has our back today. You say you go collect if you don't get it right. I mean, a lot. There's room. There's reason. There's a huge market for resold breast milk. Yeah, I'll rest my case. I'll rest my case, Abby. So that woman is the breadwinner in that house. Yes. Yes. She is. That's how they chose to do their household. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. What do you think about this? Should I rest my case or let Abby and Marriott argue against me while I move on to the next topic here? What do you think? Just join the conversation in the chat. We have some other stuff to cover here, and I will be right back.
It's your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Me love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.